Hi, clowns. Welcome to Crimelia Street. I'm Sam,
And I'm Tori.
and it is spooky season. We are in October.
We have entered. Oh, I meant to wear my skeleton shirt. I forgot.
Yeah, spooky season. Yeah, for sure. And
Boo.
actually, have you? Okay, so this has been going on TikTok for the past, I think, just 2 days. It's been a very rapid thing. But have you heard of anything that happened with the rug on TikTok?
The rug?
It's
No.
like Ruggate. Okay, so this lady, I forgot her username, but she wakes up. She has kind of a sunroom area on her back porch where she works. So she closed her laptop for the night, and her desk is always a certain way. And she woke up the next morning and she opened up her laptop and the screen was smashed, and there were things that were misplaced on her desk, like things that she would normally put on
No.
one part of the desk was on another part of the desk. And so she's like, what is going on? And then she was like, and it's been weird because we are going to put up a fence. So we started digging and we found a rug buried 2 feet underground. And so she's like, is my house haunted? Like, why is there a rug buried 2 feet underground? And people are like, it's a body immediately.
Right, of course.
And it's like an older house too. It's only been only one other family has lived in this house before they got this house. And so she ends up calling the cops, and she's giving us updates. Like, this is all happening in real time.
Oh my gosh.
And the cops they come out and they're like, okay, this is kind of weird. And they bring out two cadaver dogs, and they both signal that
Oh
there's
my
a dead
God.
body in this whole thing. And so soon the news is there. She's like, people in suits came to my house. She was live a few times, and ABC News has been covering it. It's been a big deal. But apparently they didn't find any body or anything in the rug. And they're like, maybe it's just because a lot of the rain, sometimes that brings up weird smells that the dogs will signal
Yeah.
to, or whatever. But it was a journey. It
I
was a
bet.
crazy, yeah. Oh my gosh. So
Wow.
just to
And
kick
I'm,
off spooky season,
yeah, and I guess it's a good thing that there was no body.
Right. Right. Good. Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy, dude. Dang, I feel like I missed. I'm feeling a little FOMO.
I'll have to send it to you. Yeah. It was pretty wild. But she's like, I still think something's going on because who buries a
what?
rug? And
More
there was
so-
a tree planted on top of it too.
Maybe it was well, no, because the dogs know the difference between animals and humans.
Right. People were saying it could be a pet.
But I think
Maybe,
those
but-
cadaver dogs are trained for that. They know the difference between human remains and animal remains. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Right. So she's not fully buying it.
What
And
happened
she's
to
like,
her
and now
computer?
That's what they don't know either, or that's what she's trying to figure out as well.
I hope she doesn't have an
And now
attic
her whole
liver.
yard is dug up. So
Oh my gosh. Have you seen there was one case, I can't remember I can't remember much about it at all except for the fact that someone was living in another person's attic, and she would come home and she felt certain food items were missing, or some things were just kind of moved around. And at one point, I think it was a she. At one point, she had a puppy, and she had it in the bathroom while she would work with the little pee pee pads. And she came home one time, and I guess she had left the the sink running or something, so it flooded. And she came home, and the water was turned off, and the puppy was up in the sink instead of down in the flooded water or something. So he helped the puppy, and someone had put the puppy up there, and then come to find out some dude was living in her attic.
oh my gosh,
So I wonder if this person with the smashed computer has an attic dweller.
that is a good theory for sure. Which, dude, that's creepy. But it's maybe he's nice because he saved the puppy. That's kind of nice,
He's probably homeless or something.
but still awful and scary.
Ooh, that's a huge invasion of I feel like that would be a bit traumatizing.
For sure. Yeah.
But right, like maybe he probably wasn't like malicious like most
like
of the
trying to
people
murder her or something, but
right, like most of the people we talk about.
Right. We just go there immediately.
Speaking of sad stuff,
Okay.
should we get into it? So
All right.
this week we are talking about the unsolved case of Ellen Greenberg. I think you've heard about this one a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, it was funny because, like, I was doing research. I had started doing research on it, and I was just, like, going over our list because Sam and I have this, like, very long list of, like, cases that we may at some point get to. And I realized that her name was on there, and I'm like, who wrote that, me or you? And I realized you had written it. So I'm like, okay, Sam's going to be a little familiar with this one, all right? Okay, so the background on Ellen Greenberg. Her parents are Joshua Greenberg and Sandy Greenberg. And this is just so weird because we have a best friend whose last name is also Greenberg.
Right. I was just thinking that.
You can't not.
Right. No relation.
No. Both Joshua and Sandy are really good people. They definitely love their daughter a lot, which becomes very obvious as this goes on. Ellen was an only child. She was born July 23rd, 1983. She had really strong relationships with everyone in her life, her friends, her family. It would later be noted by Tom Brennan, who's an investigator who comes onto the case actually very recently, in the more recent years. And he said in an interview that her strong relationships with friends and family is one of the things that's helped this case from, like, falling to the wayside because people care about her so much that they just, like, can't let it go. So she went to Penn State and got a bachelor's degree. This is our second Penn State case, by the way.
The first one was that, was it the library thing?
Yes. Yeah, Betsy Ardsma. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Betsy.
So spooky things up in Penn State, for sure.
What's going on over there?
Right. So she got her bachelor's in communications from Penn State and then decided she wanted to be a teacher, and she got her teaching credentials from Temple University and became a first grade teacher in Philadelphia. She had a boyfriend named Sam Goldberg. Sam and her were dating for 3 years before Sam ended up proposing to her on a beach while they were on vacation in California. Ellen and Sam were in the process of planning their wedding, and they planned to marry in August 2011. With planning the wedding and having a full-time job, Ellen started showing some signs of being a little bit mentally overwhelmed. She did what most people do in this scenario, and she reached out to her friends and family and spoke to them about it. She even mentioned moving back home to her parents' house. They lived 2 hours away in Harrisburg, and she mentioned wanting to move back home with them, and they were kind of startled by that. They're like, is everything okay with, like, you and your relationship and just going on in your life for you to want to move back? Because she was pretty established in, I believe, in Philadelphia. I was going to say I believe in New York, but she lived in New York earlier. So they just, like, kind of saw that as a little bit shocking. And Ellen's father said also, too, around this time that he noticed that Ellen was having trouble making decisions on her own. She had always been known to be, like, a super independent woman and wasn't, like, super reliant on, like, the men she was dating. And at this point in her life, people would, like, ask her to go out to dinner or to, like, make plans with her, and she'd always have to say, I don't know, I have to check with Sam.
Interesting.
So Ellen was encouraged at this point by her friends and family to speak to a psychiatrist. She did see the psychiatrist 3 times. The psychiatrist ended up prescribing her Klonopin and Ambien. So on January 26, 2011, Ellen Greenberg was found dead in her apartment kitchen. She was found with approximately 20 stab wounds and a knife protruding from her chest. There was also a half-made fruit salad on the counter. And in the crime scene photos, Ellen is seen sitting kind of slouched against the bottom kitchen cabinets.
Oh my God.
I know. January 26th, the day of Ellen's death, was a really snowy day. There was a severe blizzard rolling in. I keep hearing this storm referred to as a nor'eastern. I feel like I've heard that term before. I can't relate. I don't really understand what that means, but I think it's big snowstorm.
Yeah. That's what I understand it to be.
Okay. I'm assuming it happens in the northeastern
part of those parts.
Ellen had gotten out of work early as the school had a half day because the weather coming in. After she got out of school, she filled up her gas tank on the way home because I guess people do that when nor'easters are coming in, kind of like we do for hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam, her fiance, had come home from work as well, and then he headed to the gym at about 4:45. And the gym was in the apartment complex, but I think it was like in a different building, but still in the apartment complex. When Sam came back from the gym about 45 minutes later, he was not able to get into their apartment. He had a key on him for the door handle. It was like a key fob, but there was a swing bar lock that was locked from the inside, which is like one of those ones that you'll see at hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't able to get in, and he was getting frustrated that he couldn't get into his apartment. He was texting Ellen and yelling at her through the door, and their neighbors did corroborate this, that they heard him yelling from outside the apartment. He started texting Ellen, and this is the series of texts that he sent to her. The first text said, hello. Second text said, open the door. Next text said, what are you doing? Then, I'm getting pissed. Hello. You better have an excuse. What the fuck? Ah. And the last text said, you have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I feel like in hindsight, these might look different than maybe they were meant in the moment, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you have no idea is definitely odd, I feel like.
Right. You
like
have
it could,
no idea.
It could just mean you have no idea, like you're like in the shower or something and I'm stuck outside, you know?
Right.
Or it could
I'm just frustrated. You have no idea how frustrated I mean, I'd get a little frustrated maybe if I was in that position, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam then goes down to talk to the security guard who works at the apartment complex to see if the security guard has a key or a way of, like, getting past those swing bar locks. The security guard says he does not. Sam then goes back to the apartment and breaks through the door, breaking the lock on the door. Sam told the cops later that the security guard was with him at this point. However, the security guard does admit that Sam came down to see him about having a key or a way to get past the swing lock, but the security guard says that he never left his post after he told Sam that he doesn't have a way to access the apartment. When Sam got into the apartment, he saw Ellen sitting in an upright position, slouched over near the bottom of the cabinets, like I mentioned earlier. Sam then makes a few calls. He calls his uncle, he calls his parents, and then he calls 911.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to note back to the fact that Ellen was found with 20 stab wounds and a knife protruding from her chest.
There we go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like the way she's just sitting there like that is so wild to me.
I know. Yeah. And to walk in on that, like... So, I'm going to play the 911 call now.
Okay.
This was Sam calling into 911 when he walked into the apartment after calling his uncle and his parents. So, let me just pull that up.
I just walked to my apartment. My fiance's on the floor with blood everywhere.
What is the address?
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please come. Help.
4601
Flat Rock Road.
Is this a house or apartment?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Apartment.
It's an apartment.
What apartment number?
603.
Apartment 603.
603. Please, Harry, please.
Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. I can't tell.
No. So you have to calm yourself down in order to get you some help.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at her right now. I can't see anything. There's nothing broken. She's bleeding. Ellie!
You don't know where she's bleeding from? Can't see where the blood's coming from?
I think her head. I think she hit her head, But it's up everywhere. It's everywhere.
Think she might have fallen? Do you know what happened?
She may have slipped. There's blood on the table. Her face is a little purple.
Okay, hold on for rescue for her. Stay on the phone. fire department 842. What's the address? No,
4601 Flat Rock Road. Please hurry.
4601 Flat Rock.
Yes.
What's wrong?
I went downstairs to go work out. I came back up. The door was latched. My fiance's inside. She wasn't answering. So after about a half hour, I decided to break it down. I see her now just on the floor with blood. She's not responding.
Okay, is she breathing? Look at her chest. I need you to calm down. I need you to look at her chest. It's really.
I really don't think she is.
Listen to me. Someone's on the way. Look at her chest. Is she flat on her back?
She's on her back. So I bring her.
Look at her chest and tell me if it's going up and down, up and down.
I don't see her moving.
Okay, do you know how to do CPR?
I don't.
Okay, I can tell you what to do, okay, until they get there. I want you to keep her foot on her.
God.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, okay.
Are you willing to do CPR with me over the phone until they get there?
I have to, right?
Okay, so get her flat on her back, bare her chest, okay? You want to rip her shirt off.
Shit.
Okay? Kneel down by her side.
Oh, my God. Ellie, please.
Listen, you can't freak out, sir, because you gotta...
Okay, I'm trying not to. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh, my God. She stabbed herself.
Where?
She fell with a knife. Oh, no. Her knife's sticking out.
What?
There's a knife sticking out of her heart.
She stabbed herself?
I guess so. I don't know where she fell on it. I don't know.
Okay, well, don't touch it.
Okay, so I just let her down. Here now, what do I do?
No, I mean, you can't, if the knife is in her chest, it's going to be kind of hard for you to do CPR at this time.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Police, which operator? 277.
Is someone coming here?
Yes, they are. You said 4601 Flat Rock, right?
Yes.
Okay, someone's on the way. And the knife is still inside?
Wait, so what?
The knife is still inside of her?
Yes, I didn't take it out.
Is it her chest or what area?
It's in her chest. It looks like it's right in her heart.
Okay, someone's on the way out there. Okay, just get...
Oh, my God. Okay.
How old is she?
She's 27.
27. And there's no sign of life at all? Like,
No,
pinch her to her arm.
please don't be. What?
Pinch her to her arm and tell me if she responds to pain.
Ellie. It's not. Her hands are still warm. I don't know what that means, but there's blood everywhere.
I know, but you can't, and the knife is still inside of her. How far? Can you see how far it went in?
It looks pretty deep.
Okay.
It looks it's a long knife.
Don't touch anything. Yeah, don't touch anything, okay?
I'm not touching anything. I can't believe this, though.
So wait, was just you there with her?
We're the only ones here.
And she ran in the door, you said latched it shut?
No, I went downstairs to work out, and when I came back up, the door was latched. Like it was, it wasn't like it was, it was like locked from the inside, and I'm yelling, so I'm
Was your
yelling
house
and
broken into?
No.
So there's no sign of a break-in?
No sign of a break-in at all. I mean, there will be when you get here, because I had to break the latch, but to get in.
Okay, 4601 Flat Rock, and this is a house, right?
It's an apartment. Flat Rock apartment 603.
Okay, that's a house. Apartment 603.
Oh my God. All right, thank you. Bye.
That is so weird. Because one, how do you not notice the knife sticking out right away? Oh my gosh. And then she stabbed herself. He automatically assumed that she stabbed herself or said.
Fell on a knife? Excuse me? Why would anyone say that off the bat? She fell on a knife?
Right.
Like, that's such a strange conclusion to jump to.
Yeah.
And, like, I've never been in a situation like this, so I've never, like, I guess experienced that kind of shock, but, like, that just seems like a very interesting place to jump to. She fell on a knife. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other...
For sure.
Anything else stand out?
It also was weird how, also, as you just said, I've never been in a situation like this, but his voice was, like, kind of calm and matter of fact in certain things that he would say, like when he was, like, giving the address, it's like he would just momentarily, like, not be upset, and then he would maybe remember to be upset, and then... Oh, Ellie,
right.
That also kind of jumped out to me as well.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple things that stuck out to me. It was strange when she asked him to give CPR, and he says, I guess I have to, right?
Right.
That was
It's like
kind of strange.
Yeah, bro.
Right.
That's
Again,
your
though,
fiance.
right. Like, I know if I were in that situation, like, that is what I would do. But again, everyone reacts differently. So to stressful situations. So just noted as like strange. Yeah, his leap to her having fell on the knife. And then the one thing I just can't make sense is not seeing the knife. Not
Right. And because they were like, the lady was like, okay, she's flat on her back, right? Yes. Is her chest moving up and down? No. So it's like, it's not like she was slumped over still and he was holding her. According to him, she was already on her back. And if the knife is sticking out of her chest.
and you're looking at her chest.
Right. It's not like she had a sweatshirt over it and the knife was kind of like laying to the side of it, you know, like, or bent.
Right.
Like,
and then you just said one of the other ones too, is she laying flat on her back? So in the crime scene photos, so this is when responders get there, she is slouched against the cabinets.
weird.
And she's asking him here on the call, which is before those photos were taken, is she on her back? And he's saying yes.
That's so weird.
It's very strange. The way he almost laughs, too, when she asks if the knife is still in there, and he's like, yeah, I didn't pull it out, and, like, kind of chuckles. That was just strange to me. And then also, too, about not noticing the knife in there, it's almost like he was stalling, like, when she's trying to get him to do CPR. I feel like to me, it seemed like in his head he's trying to figure out, how am I going to explain that I haven't seen this knife yet? And he's like, I don't know, I can't get this shirt. Oh my God. And then he's like, there's a zipper. Oh my God, there's a knife there.
Right.
And then he says it's a big knife, which I'm thinking there's probably a big handle on a big knife too.
Yeah.
And the way he kept indicating too that the knife was in her heart specifically felt weird to me. Like, why would you keep saying in her heart, in her heart? It's almost like we're, I don't know. That just feels weird.
Yeah, for sure. And, oh, man, what I wouldn't give to hear what those phone calls to his family were.
I know. Yeah. Yep.
Dang. That is so weird. It definitely gives me goosebumps hearing that because he does sound legitimately upset and, like, panicked, but then there's just those moments where it seems like he is trying to get, like, facts straight, you know? So...
And I just cannot wrap my head around the knife thing.
Right. That is so... And it's like, okay, so was she ever on her back or did you prop her back up? Like, I don't know.
Right. Yep. So, the police came to the scene. Some of the post-death findings are that she was stabbed approximately 20 times in the chest, stomach, neck, and head. Many were in the back of her neck and head. 2 of the wounds went directly into her brain. She had bruises in various states of healing all over her body, on her abdomen, her arm, and her leg. This is kind of interesting as well because they weren't all inflicted like that day. So these were like in different states of healing. And it was determined that this could be from contact sports, just bumping into things, which that's me. I'm always covered in bruises from just bumping into things, or from a closed fist. And it's not, it could be any of those things. She did not play contact sports, so it's not that one. But maybe she's clumsy. I am.
Right.
The autopsy report also states that there were no defensive wounds present. When the police arrived, almost immediately they treated the scene as a suicide. The scene was not treated as a crime scene. Due to it not being a crime scene and Ellen being pronounced dead at the scene, there was no determination of a time of death. And also, like, the regular testing and stuff that goes on with a crime scene, just none of that happened. Written in the report the night of Ellen's death, before an autopsy was performed or a medical examiner had examined Ellen, it was being considered as a suicide, which is like kind of crazy in like a normal suicide when there's clear evidence of a suicide. She was stabbed 20 times. in the back of the neck and the head for some of those.
What? How is that a logical conclusion? Is what I want to know.
That is a fair question.
That would not be the first thing I think of when I hear of those wounds or the state of the person.
No, it would not be. I don't think it would be the first thing many people would go to. And we're not cops.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So, some of the reasons it was being considered as a suicide is there was no forced entry. The door had been locked from the inside. They're on the 6th floor, so it would have been difficult for someone to gain entry from the back balcony. And they even went out and, like, checked the snow, and there were no snow tracks. No tracks in the snow. The autopsy also states there were no defensive wounds on the body, which led them to think suicide as well. And then it's also noted in the autopsy Ellen's history of anxiety. And the only thing that was collected as evidence from the scene the day of Ellen's death was her medication.
Very strange.
So Sam's gym story did check out. Him going to the gym, it lined up with his key fob records, and there's also footage of him in the gym on camera. Sam did have one interview with police. They said he was very cooperative, and then he lawyered up after that, which is fair, I think. No judgment there. Someone stabbing themselves as a suicide method is super rare. And it's especially rare in females. Females tend to choose non-violent methods of suicide, like carbon monoxide. Also, people, when they stab themselves, if someone does stab themselves, they tend to lift their clothes up as well. And all of the stab wounds went through her clothes. So, like, it's just, like, super, everything about this is just, like, if it was a suicide, it's very odd chances. Mm-hmm. The reasons for suicide not making sense is 20 stab wounds. Hard to inflict that much pain on oneself, especially to the neck and head, especially to the back of the neck and head. And once we get to the autopsy part 2, we'll find out that some of the angles that these wounds were at, like, it would take a lot of force at very weird angles for you to, even if you're coherent and, like, all together, to be able to, like, do that yourself.
Right, right. Especially if you've already been stabbing yourself, like, in the stomach and stuff. Because you would have to do those first before you would do those. And why even do those?
And these were the ones to the back of the head and neck were first.
Oh, see, like...
To the brain.
Some got to the brain, right. That is so weird. And it's like the fruit salad. She was in the process of making a fruit salad.
That's on the list, yep, of things that very, that's I love that you picked up on that. Yeah, that's another reason why suicide just doesn't make sense. Also, she filled up her tank of gas on the way. She had reservations at a restaurant for Sam's birthday coming up and was, like, already talking to friends about what gift she was going to get him. She'd recently spoken to her mom and told her everything is going well, besides her just being a little overwhelmed with wedding planning, which who isn't?
Right, right.
And even when she did go see her psychiatrist, so, like, those medications, some of the side effects of those medications are suicidal thoughts. So her psychiatrist did evaluate her for this and said that she was not someone who she was worried about having suicidal thoughts. She did not think she had suicidal thoughts. And I believe there were 3 separate notes in her file from her psychiatrist saying that she does not have suicidal thoughts or is not prone to it either. So an autopsy was completed the next day, January 27th, 2011, by an assistant medical examiner, Marlon Osborne. The cause of death at this point was ruled a homicide. And the knife that was present in her chest wound was 4 inches deep. And this had to have been the last wound that was inflicted. And it would have taken a lot of force to get that knife in 4 inches deep. There's a bone there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we have a chest plate.
Right. Oh, my gosh. Ugh. After you've already stabbed yourself in the brain.
And
then
times.
in the stomach.
Yes. Yes. It's crazy, dude. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, the medical examiner initially rules this a homicide, which seems like a logical conclusion.
Yes. I agree.
Yes. It's not often, right? We get to agree.
Right.
Well, hold your ponies.
Ponies are held.
So the police went back to the scene to investigate it as a homicide. However, during this time in between Ellen being removed from the apartment and the police going back to investigate it as a homicide now that it has been deemed a homicide, Sam's uncle went by, I believe, to pick up some like clothing for the funeral for Sam and maybe for Ellen as well. And he also took all the like laptops and like electronics out of the apartment at this point as well while he was there. And quite honestly, who knows what else.
Right.
Oh, and there was also a crime scene, I guess before he went over there, because there was all the blood and stuff there. A crime scene cleanup crew was sent to clean up the apartment. So this is before the uncle got there. So now that they're going back to investigate it as a crime scene, it had already been cleaned up.
Dang.
So the only thing they really could have done at this point to get any kind of evidence was a luminol test, and they did not. Police also told reporters 2 days later that while it was deemed a homicide, they were still leaning towards suicide.
I just don't understand.
It really gets the noggin turning, doesn't it?
Right. Things that make you go,
Right. And I can only imagine how Ellen's poor parents are feeling during this. When they got the call, too, so they lived 2 hours away, and this blizzard was there, so they couldn't even come until, like, the next day either, which is just...
Oh, damn.
Had
I can't
to be
imagine.
So traumatic. They're just, like, stuck in their house with all this going on. Another reason they were thinking suicide is because they did DNA tests on the knife that was in her chest, and only Ellen's DNA was on the knife, because it was her knife. And quite frankly, someone could have worn gloves.
Right. Yeah.
So that just seems like quite a leap. One of the ways they were trying to determine if it was suicide versus homicide was that because these wounds that went into the neck and the head were first, the back of the neck and the head were first, they wanted to look at a piece of her spinal cord and examine it to see if it had been severed. Because if it had been severed, it would have been very unlikely that Ellen would have been able to inflict all the other wounds on herself because of the kind of injuries that you get from a severed spinal cord, especially in between those two, what are they called? Vertebrae.
Yeah.
It usually causes like paralysis. So very unlikely that she would have been able to. So they did examine it, and it had been determined that the piece of spinal cord was not severed but punctured. And neuropathologists say that Ellen could have gone numb from this and still been able to inflict the rest of the wounds on herself because she wouldn't have felt it. It's also interesting to note that the numbness isn't always localized to one area. Like, she may have also, if this did happen, felt numbness in her arms and stuff as well, which would have made wielding a weapon difficult.
Yeah.
Especially with the kind of pressure you would have needed to push a knife 4 inches into your own chest.
Right.
4 inches.
And just like, it goes against human nature to even do that to yourself to begin with. Like,
right. And then
you
20
would-
times.
You would probably just stop because your body would stop. I don't know, dude. Ugh.
I do feel like that. I feel like you'd have to make the first one count if you could even, like, get through with that one. Because there's no way
Right.
you could do more.
And why just going through the whole rigmarole? Like, why not just, like, do your neck or something? Like,
Right, like the jugular. Yeah, that's a great point. Yep. So many questions.
yeah.
3 months after it was determined a homicide, the medical examiner changes the cause of death to suicide. The medical examiner later says that they did this due to pressure from police. And in an interview with Tom Brennan, also much later, he was asked the last time he's seen something like this where a medical examiner, like, changes their cause of death because of pressure from police who are not trained in this.
Right.
And he kind of made a joke out of it and said the last time he's seen that was in the movie Jaws. So pretty much he's never seen that.
Right. That's...
And I can't remember if he was a district attorney or a prosecutor, a homicide prosecutor. I think it was one of those. So he had a lot of experience.
Right. Can you imagine that conversation between the police and the medical examiner? Like, no, you really need to change it to this. It's like, well, why?
Exactly. And like, what would have made the medical examiner agree to that too? And I believe that medical examiner like moved on from this position very soon after this. I think doing the same thing but somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like,
that's fishy for sure.
It feels like something's, I don't know what the something is, and like without there being transparency, there's so many conclusions that we can draw that are all terrifying and not great. So someone needs to get to the bottom of this and like find out what the hell is going on. And those poor parents.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Ellen's family doesn't believe this was a suicide for great reason. Not only do they know their daughter and know that like this isn't something that this isn't like the state of mind that she was in. And that's not to say that sometimes people do just like, you know, flip, but like all the evidence at the scene as well, like it's just not adding. I can't imagine being the parent and accepting that, you know, and they won't.
Yeah.
They hired many top-notch professionals, including a lawyer and a detective and a few pathologists throughout the years as well. Cyril H. Wecht is a famous pathologist. He says this case is strongly suspicious as a homicide and says he doesn't understand how this was written off as a suicide, noting the wounds to the back of her neck. And that was in 2012, so a year after her death. In 2017, pathologist Wayne K. Ross said the stab wound to her brain would have resulted in severe pain, cranial nerve dysfunction, and traumatic brain signs, as well as numbness. Why can I not talk tonight? As well as numbness, tingling, and irregular heartbeat. And that was, again, one of the first impacts that she took, or one of the first wounds that was inflicted on her. And that was conflicting with what was written in the initial medical examiner's report. And the doctor on that was Rourke Adams. When she was reached out to about this case and asked, like, why do your findings conflict with this more recent pathologist's findings, she said that she doesn't remember this case, even though she's like the doctor noted in the report. And it seems like a very odd case to not remember. One of the podcasts that I listened to for this case, she does autopsies, and she's like, there's no way I would forget this case.
Right, for sure. That is bold to say.
Right. It's not a great look as a professional either. Just like, oh,
right.
I don't know, forgot that one. Like, it doesn't look good to say that. So, like, what would look worse? Like, what are you hiding that might look worse? In investigations years later after Ellen's death, a former homicide prosecutor had questions about Ellen's death, and while looking for answers, he ended up finding a remaining piece of Ellen's spinal cord that was still at the medical examiner's office, and this was like 6 years later.
Oh my God.
It was given to a pathologist who determined that it was both punctured and severed. Okay. So remember, initially they had determined that it was just punctured, which could have like made her numb, and maybe she could have still inflicted the wounds because she still would have had mobility, but they re-examined it, and apparently it was also severed. So strange that piece of her was left there for so many years.
That is so weird.
Right. And then also that it just so happens to not align with information that had already been put out about it.
Yeah.
This next section I have titled Some Sus Shit. I can't wait for Riverside to put that as the chapter. So something that was sus about the crime scene and the crime scene photos, like looking back at them years later, was blood flow. So Ellen in the crime scene photos was sitting upright, but in the photos there is a stream of blood that went from the bottom of her nostril to the back of her ear horizontally. And going back to him being on the 911 call and saying that she is laying on her back, it's like, was she really on her back at that point, or what was going on. I don't know. That is
Right.
just very strange. This indicates that she was moved since she started bleeding. Investigators were surprised at the lack of blood on the scene as well. Large arteries were stabbed during Ellen's attack that would have caused a lot of bleeding, and there was not that much blood at the scene. So it's like, was some cleaned up? There was also a towel near Ellen's left hand, a white towel, in crime scene photos that had no blood on it. Investigators Tom Brennan and Guy DeAndrea agreed that the scene was staged, and these are like kind of the champions for her at this point. They're both, I don't even think they're doing this as like their official job duty. I think they're just like, this is fucked up, and pushing to get justice for her family. Scott Eelman reviewed the crime scene photos as well and determined that there was a blood trail in the photos that would have been consistent with the body being moved. Tom Brennan believes that this was a blitz attack, consistent with the spinal cord being severed on one of those first blows, and also consistent with the lack of defensive wounds, because if one of those first blows did sever her spinal cord and cause paralysis, she wouldn't have been able to put up much of a fight. It was later determined as well that the last two wounds did not bleed, as they seemed like they were post-mortem wounds because the lack of blood.
Found. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're no expert, though.
Right. Neuropathologist Dr. Ross found scratch marks and finger marks near her throat, as well as a hemorrhage that could indicate strangulation. That does indicate strangulation. When photos from the scene were reviewed by Brennan, the lock on the door had one screw pushed out. Brennan says if it were pushed through, like if he broke through the door, the whole lock would be hanging off. But it was strange because just a screw or two had like neatly been taken out of the lock, it looked like. It seems like there's something suspicious happening with the lock. Also, them like deeming it as a suicide because the lock was locked from the inside is kind of crazy too, because you can actually Google a ton of things. Like you can just YouTube how to lock like one of those swing bars from the outside of the door, and also how to unlock it from the outside of the door. So noted, if you ever stay at a hotel or something, you can actually like buy these like little locks that you can attach to your door so that you're not relying.
Like safety.
Yeah, so you're not relying on one of those like swing locks, because people know how they can literally just YouTube it and figure it out in 2 minutes how to break into one of those.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, because that always made me feel safer, because I worry about like the hotel people having access to the room, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
Oof. They could literally just stand in the hallway, pull up a YouTube video, and figure out how to get through it.
That's so crazy. Yeah, good
I will
to
be
know.
buying one of those little locks.
Absolutely.
Ellen's parents requested access to her file, but the request was denied. They were allowed to review it, but it had to be just the two of them, and they couldn't copy or photograph anything, and they weren't allowed to call their lawyers to explain any of the records that they were looking at while they were in the room. So it ended up just being a huge waste of time, pretty much, because they weren't able to understand like what they were looking at. They have tried to have Ellen's case reopened, but requests have been denied. The Philadelphia Attorney General's office said they performed a thorough investigation, and to double down, they stated that there were searches on Ellen's computer for quick and painless suicide methods. The family had originally been told, and even noted in the autopsy report, that no such terms were found on her computer, and then apparently the computers were sent off at some other time, and I don't know if this is because at one point the uncle had the computers as well, so I'm not sure like exactly the chain of custody between all that, but the computers were sent off to some other like organization at some point, and these searches were apparently found, but those reports have never been provided to the family or anyone. The Philadelphia Attorney General's office just says that they do have them. Meanwhile, the autopsy report says that there were no such searches, and Ellen's family had her laptop, did a forensic sweep on it. I forget what it's called, forensic search on it as well on their own dime, and they were told that there were no searches involving suicide ever.
That's terrifying, dude.
Mm-hmm. And it just seems like every time someone's trying to hold like the Philadelphia Attorney General's office accountable for something, they're just like, I don't know, where'd that report go? I don't know, can't find it.
Whoops.
Yeah. Oh, a piece of her spine? Who knows? How'd that get there?
Oh my God.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So, October 15th, 2019, Ellen's parents filed a civil lawsuit against the medical examiner, Osborne, and the Philadelphia County Medical Examiner's Office with the goal of having suicide removed as the cause of death. And they wanted it to be either homicide or even undetermined, they're okay with, but they don't want their daughter's memory, that being the official cause of death for their daughter. So an armchair detective, which we love this, ended up putting in some hard work. I don't know how she acquired these surveillance videos from the lobby of the apartment, but she did. Police initially went through this and said that there was no one suspicious in the lobby, and then there also were not cameras in the hallways that led to their apartment, so there's no footage of that. But this armchair detective, who is a librarian by day, found on the lobby footage that there was some guy who was nervously bouncing around in the lobby for almost 2 hours, from about 4 to 6. He ends up going upstairs, and he's up there the whole time that Sam is in the gym. And then he comes down, and it seems like his demeanor has changed when he comes down, and he's got this all business kind of he's not nervous looking or bouncy anymore. And he has injuries that he needs a Kleenex for to dab some blood. He goes to the bathroom downstairs and heads back up the stairs with something big stuffed into his pants. He goes up and then comes down with a big wrapped up bundle of something stuffed under his arm. Then he sees a swipe card Sam Goldberg had dropped off earlier and makes a beeline to pick it up. When he picks it up, he doesn't look at it to see what it is, but he looks to see if anyone saw him. Then he goes off screen left, and 1 minute later, Sam Goldberg comes down to the lobby. The woman ended up constructing this detailed timeline of the man's actions in the lobby along with freeze frames, and then she sent all of that to the Chester County District Attorney's Office, who now holds the case instead of the Philadelphia Attorney General's Office. In 2021, new forensic evidence that proves Ellen could not have stabbed herself is shown by something called photogrammetry, which is some kind of 3D evidence that you can get from looking at photos. And by looking at the photos, they're able to determine the angles that the knife would have entered each wound. And it would have been very improbable for Ellen to have been able to wound herself from behind, because she wouldn't have been able to use the force necessary at the angle that the wound was to get the knife so far in. And then also, this part I didn't really understand, but it said the angle in which some of the wounds were inflicted were from an upright angle. Oh, in the back of the neck. That's what they're talking about. So the angle that the wounds were inflicted in the back of the neck were at an upright angle. So that's even harder.
Right. I'm
I think it's this.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's you literally.
It's you can't even.
Right. We look like a bunch of doofuses.
I know.
Okay, so the angle in which some of the wounds were inflicted were at an upright angle, which is literally just not even possible. And also, they determined to do that many stab wounds just doesn't make sense. And then for the deep chest wound to be the last one also needs a lot of force. After being incapacitated from the other wounds, they said it's highly unlikely and really doesn't make sense. Ellen's family also had a forensic search done. This is of the laptop. I had mentioned this earlier. And they were able to find that there was never any searches for suicide on the computer, like the Attorney General's office mentioned. This evidence was submitted to the Attorney General's office in January 2021. The Attorney General mentioned that responded and mentioned that there's not enough evidence to change the cause of death ruling to a homicide yet, but there is no statute of limitations on homicide. And if any additional information is brought forward that could change the cause of death, then they will look into it.
I mean, what else would they need?
Literally.
And also, I guess there hasn't been any charges, but so none of this evidence has been, examined in the court of law either, so we haven't they're just taking the Attorney General's office word for it that there were these searches.
Right.
Like, no one has seen that report. Oh my gosh, this is frustrating.
They cannot provide the report. Yeah. It's like those parents have to feel helpless. It's crazy, dude.
I hate that for them.
I know. So this is backdating a little bit, but it kind of sums up like the court proceedings in the most recent years from 2019 until now. In 2019, Ellen's parents filed a civil suit against Marlon Osborne, the original medical examiner, and the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office to change the manner of death of homicide to homicide or undetermined. The new information, which is like the stuff that I just mentioned, was brought to the court, and the suit cited the fact that Osborne changed the cause of death solely because of persistence from the police as well. In August 2002, the case was reopened by Chester County District Attorney's Office because thank fucking God they've got it now. I don't know how they're going to handle it, but we know the last guys weren't handling it well. The case had been relinquished by Philadelphia Attorney General's office due to an appearance of a conflict of interest.
Interesting.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's about all we have. There was an update yesterday as I was doing research. An article popped up all of a sudden that I didn't see earlier in my research because it was literally published yesterday. And they did just kind of, it was the first update in 2 years, and they just said, we're looking into everything, and we should have some update in the coming weeks or months. So,
okay.
Hopefully...
Well, that's good. A step in the right direction, for sure.
It feels promising, yeah. And again, this is in the Chester County District Attorney's Office, too, so it's at least promising that it's in someone else's hands. Sam is now remarried and works in TV. There obviously are theories out there that Sam's family ties may be the reason that things could have been covered up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to throw someone under the bus without there being a lot of evidence, you know? Like, I'm not at a place where I would say it's definitely him. I just can't get past not seeing the knife in her chest.
Right. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right, that's hard for me to reconcile.
Yeah. And also, like, why does the police even care to have the manner of death changed? Like, why would they feel the need to change it? Because what would it matter to them? You know what I mean?
Right, that's actually a good question, yeah. I mean, I guess they'd have to, like, treat it like a homicide and, like, actually put work and hours into it, but...
But even after, like, everything's cleaned up, and couldn't it just be, like, unsolved? And it's like,
right.
That's all there is to it. You know, there's nothing more they can do because it's already been compromised. But the fact that it was just initially, they're like, yeah, it's a suicide. Just after seeing the scene.
Which I can see why people would maybe think there's something going on with, like, family ties, because why would they say that right off it's almost like someone had called them ahead of time and said, hey, when you get there, like, wrap this up real quick. Right,
get the crime scene cleaning company here and call it a day. And I'll be by to pick up the laptop.
Right.
And the mystery dude in the lobby, that is.
Yeah, so that's also, you know, a potential avenue as well. So, very interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised, too, if it goes down that road. It's just like right now, with there being such a lack of transparency, people's minds are going to go crazy.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It's just like, what were y'all doing, Philadelphia Attorney General's office? Like...
Yeah. That's kind of reminding me of the whole Karen Reed case, too, with how, like, wild
I think there's
that
connections.
Is.
I think, what is that guy's name? Hang on, let me pull it up. And I was trying to figure out, this is one thing I wanted to, like, look into a little bit more. But I think someone who worked on the Karen Reed case, the one who, remember, wrote the reason that the case was, it was like not a hung jury, but what happened with her trial? I forget
I know
exactly
there's, like, a
what the
delay
term
in it
is.
right now. Yeah.
Because of the text messages that guy sent about her, remember?
Uh-huh.
I think that guy also worked on this case. What is his name? I can find it out real quick. Michael Proctor.
Oh, yes. Yes. Interesting. That case has always intrigued me, so knowing all these little details is wild.
Yeah, it's infuriating. Like, it's just absolutely neglectful.
Right, right. That's so sad, though. But, I mean, as you mentioned, like, in the beginning, how much her parents obviously loved her and championed her, and I hope they get peace.
I know,
with it,
yeah.
You know, someday, and I hope they get that for her, and damn.
And just, like, so good on them, too, for, like, it's got to be hard to keep pushing it, you know? And, yeah, just good on them. And, yeah, I agree. I hope they get peace.
For sure.
Happy stuff? Should we talk about happy stuff?
We can do that.
Now, I have to know what your sign-in name is about. That dang deer?
Yeah, so actually that is from a really old clip. I think it's of Taylor at a radio station, like doing an interview, and it's either a Canadian accent or a Minnesotan accent.
I have
And
heard
she's
that.
like, oh, that dang deer. I can't do it.
She did the accent so good. I forgot about that.
She did, yes. Is it supposed to be a Minnesota accent or Canadian? I couldn't.
I think it was Midwestern, so yeah, like Minnesota.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Which they're pretty
that's-
similar.
Right, right. There's a lot
Yeah.
of similarities, but that's all it was. And how about yours? A relaxing thought.
What could she be hinting at?
One can only hope.
The breeze in my hair on the weekend.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the only thing I've really seen in Taylor news lately, and I'm starting to see a lot of hype about this, and I will say I'm kind of excited because I don't think we've ever had a Karma Truth clowning event where the numbers were backing us up. Where it actually, like, we've all been Karma Truthers and we're like, oh, maybe we'll get it at the next announcement, but it's never actually seemed like it could quite possibly be true.
Right, right.
And
Did you see that interview, like, little clip that was from, I think it was Entertainment Tonight? There's, like, a couple of magazines that Tree Payne usually goes through to deliver, like, news. And I
Okay.
believe it was Entertainment Tonight or something like that. But it was like, oh, like, Taylor wants to release new music and then just, like, chill out with Travis for a little bit. Like, it was said. It was like,
Okay.
sources have said.
And you said that, was it Tree Payne who was wearing the 12? Did you say she was wearing a 12 during the interview?
Taylor herself was wearing
Taylor
the 12.
was there for the interview too?
No, so, well, the 12 necklace, do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was during, like, a pap walk when she was out
Okay.
with, I think it was Gigi Hadid.
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
Right, right. But then, sources have said, I'm going to try and find the exact quote here.
Okay. And we know she's been in the studio too lately. Could we actually get another new album this year? I didn't think.
Right. And that TikTok you sent me of, like, you know, the whole glitch thing. It used to be an album every 2 years released in the fall. And then, like, she said that Tortured Poets was definitely, like, one that was not, like, totally planned.
And then with the Eras Tour movie poster too, I have always thought there's got to be 12 eventually. Well, not always, but since TTPD came in and changed it, I was like, well, before the Eras Tour is over, then there's got to be one more.
Right, exactly. Because it's been slowly, you know, like,
And-
dropping it.
Wasn't it the night we got Florida and we were all clowning for Rep, like, really hard? Didn't she wear the pink and orange? She was doing a lot of pink and orange outfits that night, and didn't she do the 1989 pink and orange that night?
Right, yeah.
I know she definitely did the Barry surprise song dress, which is pink.
Right. So crazy.
And for anyone who doesn't know, pink and orange is, like, associated with Karma. Oh, maybe we should, like, have we given any background into the Karma album?
I don't think so.
I don't know
I
if
guess
we
we
have.
should go over that.
Okay, I'll try to I'll try to run through it quickly and stop me if I'm missing anything. But, okay, so she was on a 2-year release schedule, and it started in 2006. We got something in 2014, so we would have naturally gotten something in 2016. However, all of the drama with Kanye and Kim happened, with Kanye putting her in his song and calling her a bitch, and then Kim and Kanye put the edited recorded phone call out to make it look like Taylor was lying about agreeing for him to call her a bitch in his song.
And calling her a snake.
Yeah. Oh, right. Thank you. That's a great point to add. Yeah. So then everyone went to Taylor's Instagram and started blowing up all her photos and stuff and just typing snake emojis everywhere and calling her a snake. I think at this point, didn't she wipe her Instagram?
Yeah, because it was that hashtag, it was like Taylor Swift is over party. And it was like the #1 trending
So sad.
thing. And then, yeah, I think she just blacked everything out for a bit and wasn't seen.
Yeah, for a year. I don't think we saw her for a year after that, approximately. We also did not get the album in 2016. We did get, however, Reputation in 2017. Is it the Look What You Made Me Do music video where she's cutting the plane wings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, I believe it's at the beginning of the music video, she's on a plane. The plane says TS6 on it, which is what Reputation ended up being, again, a year late, and she's cutting the wings off of this plane that says TS6, which I don't know how else to see that besides there was an album that was going to be TS6, and she scrapped it to put out Reputation because this huge thing happened to her, and she was just relating more with Reputation at the time and felt like she couldn't put out whatever this other TS6 was. Then we come to the man wall.
Right.
This part I'm a little bit foggier on, so you might have to step in. But I know Karma is on the wall twice, and obviously Karma's a song, but everything else on the wall is an actual album, right?
Right. It's like Red, Fearless, 1989.
There's a poster that says Taylor Swift.
Right. Yeah, the poster that says Taylor Swift. And then Karma is like in the middle and I think at the top, I believe.
It's weird for Karma to be on there at all because, as we know, Karma, it's only a song. And it's interesting that it's on there twice because everything else...
And we didn't even know it was a song at that point.
Oh, right.
It wasn't even because that was on Midnights.
Right. And the man wall, by the way, is a scene from the Man music video. It's so hard to know, like, how much context to give.
And she's peeing on it. And people are like, oh, is it because she's the man. Is it an infinity sign? Is it a clock? Is she going around in circles?
Is it a butterfly? Yeah.
Is it a butterfly?
So I think Karma is on there amongst all these other albums. So it kind of gives the idea that Karma might be an album, and I think it's on there twice to let us know, yes, I do recognize that it is a song, and I have it on here for the song as well, but then what is this other Karma on the wall? It's like a hint to us, or I'm crazy. I mean, well, she made us this way. So that's the background. Is there anything I'm leaving out?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think it is just weird how I forgot where it was like Karma. Was it some like, I don't think it was fan art. I did find the actual quote from Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, good.
It says, a source tells Entertainment Tonight, Taylor and Travis are still together and doing well. Taylor is hoping to put out new music and then take some time off together with Travis. It's like a huge deal.
Wow.
Okay, so the man wall, so it's Karma is in black in the middle. Then there's Karma that's orange, which again, Karma it's definitely orange and pinkish. I feel like orange is the main color that we would see. And then there is Fearless, Red, Speak Now, Reputation, A Missing Sign of Found Return to Taylor Swift in 1989. So those are all of her re-records. But that Karma there, dude, that is something else.
Yeah. And like the fact that it's on there twice, I feel like she's she's like, no, I know there's a song called Karma, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Right, exactly. I remember finding this really good post on Reddit, like, talking about, like, where even the name Karma came from. Because, like, I feel like Karma, it's been, like, a rumor for a really long time. I just don't know when it exactly started.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that might be a fun deep dive to do sometime. I guess we'll see. But yeah, the whole Eras Tour poster, it'd be cool for it to be all aligned, because also when her Instagram grid is aligned, you know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, not every time it's
Right.
like aligned, because it happens no matter what, every certain amount of posts, but like
Right.
it's funny how it looks very similar to that.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that little correlation. Even if it's not Karma and it's just like a new one, that's like really exciting too. It's funny because I told Amber, could you imagine if we get nothing on December 13th?
My God. The only way that would be good is it still gives us something to like look forward to, I guess. You know?
There's always a silver lining, yeah.
I'm just like, what are we going to do when everything's out? I guess we'll just be we'll be perpetually clowning for the next album.
Yeah. I know.
But like, I think her time off will be good. I wonder what will happen during the time off. Ah! I'm ready for the mommy album. Her mommy era. Like, Never Grow Up, like, already puts me into tears. You know what I mean?
I can't hear it without that song and Ronan.
Ronan. Oh, that one's so sad. Yeah. I usually don't listen to that one.
I've had to make it a skip lately because it like gives me like intrusive thoughts and stuff, and I'm just like, I can't.
Dude, same. It's like, can't think about that. Can't think about that.
Right.
I think that's how I kind of feel about, is it Robin, where it's like, way to go, Tiger, higher and higher. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Stop.
That was me when I first heard it too. That was my reaction. I made a TikTok video about that, and a lot of people responded that Aaron Dessner helped her write that, and like he had just had a baby named Robin. So, and the baby is totally healthy and happy, but it's just like about the baby being born, I think.
Okay.
But it does sound like a bit spooky to me.
Yeah.
Like the higher and higher part I don't love, but
it's like, no, stay. At the same level.
Yeah,
not
maybe
lower,
it's
not
like,
higher.
No, right here on Playing with Mommy and Daddy.
That's it for today's episode of Crimenelia Street. Please follow us on TikTok at Crimenelia ST Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Crimenelia Street. And feel free to send us an email with any episode ideas or thoughts at crimeneliast@gmail.com. Bye, clowns.
See you later, clowns.